What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. In this video, I'd like to talk about the long-term prospects of Bitcoin, where I believe the price will be at the end of this cycle, its all-time high price prediction. Not just where, but when as well. In order to do this, we're going to analyze the prior cycle highs and bear market lows and see if we can configure an appropriate analysis to determine where the price will go. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it, all right? Here we are on the 12th day of September, looking at the very first bull market that we ever had, dating back here, 2010 to 2011 there. From a high to a low, you can see, and I mean, this bull market here, analyzing this bull market isn't really going to help us too much because there's never been a bull market like it since, right? That one was just crazy stuff. We were in absolute price discovery at that point in time, and I mean, really, we have been ever since. But from a high to a low of that bull market high to bear market low, the very next cycle did go all the way up and top off right at this area, just above the 2272, right there, just above it, right there. We came back down, we found support at the golden ratio, we even found resistance at the golden ratio here, showing significance both at the golden ratio level and the 2272 level. We even found a little support at the 1272, okay, various areas there. We take the next bull market high to low right here, high to low, and you can see that you went all the way up yet again, all the way up to your 2272, but just above it this time, just above it. We came back down and we did find support at the golden ratio yet again. This time you went a little bit lower, but nevertheless you did find support there. A little bit of turbulence here, but a little bit less respect this time than you had the prior cycle, but still finding your resistance right there at the 2272. Okay. We take the next bull market high here from December 2017 to the bear market low in December 2018. And we can see that we went all the way up to our golden ratio. So the first cycle and the only cycle since that Bitcoin has stopped at its golden ratio area and did not progress higher to the 2272. Right? I was calling for this 2272 area last cycle, but in all fairness, last cycle was a bit odd. We had the aftermath of COVID. We had a bunch of other things that were negatively impacting the markets all around the world, high inflation, quantitative tightening. Interest rates were pretty high. It was a very low, it was a risk-off environment, right? And amidst other things too. We basically went through a recession from 2021 to 2024, I think, maybe even into the beginning of this year, to be completely fair. But we're definitely we're on the comeuppance out of that recession, I think, right now. Not in the markets, but I just mean like as an economy. But anyways, looking at this here, this is also the first cycle that we ever had a double top. Every other cycle before, we had a blow off top. We had a nice parabolic rally going into it. And I mean, we did have a little parabolic rally going into the end of the cycle here, but I really do believe that we were supposed to go higher. We just got robbed because there were various economic unfortunate things that were going on, and really held the market back. So anyways, we had our bear market there. We had a double top at the golden ratio, yet again showing significance, this time as a form of resistance instead of support at the golden ratio. We even showed some significance on it back over here. Here we are consolidating in the 1886-200 area now. I do believe that the next target area will be somewhere around 200K, if not above it, but we're going to continue to grow, absolutely. If we look at this now, and using what we've used so far, from a high to a low, every cycle so far in Bitcoin's existence, we have seen Bitcoin stop between the 2272 and just above there to the 1618, and technically just above there too. So just above the 1618 would put us at 180K, just above the 2272 would put us at $500,000. If this bull market is to end sometime over the next couple of months, then it's very possible that our cycle top is at 180K. I don't think it is, though, personally. If we look back, not only do we stop at the golden ratio or higher every cycle, but if we look back and we really analyze how the cycles are, you look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months in a row of growth, right? In a row. 7 months in a row. We moved all the way up, and we even had growth on this month as well. We topped off this month, but that was the actual high. The end of the bull market there was that month. So 7 months of growth in a row. You go to the prior cycle here. Now, it might not have been in a row, but if we take the last 7 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, that was 8. Let's get rid of this one. The last 7 months in a row were pretty damn bullish as well. A little bit more shaky here, a little bit more volatile on the way up, but much more bullish, right? You look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of growth right there, right? We look at the last of the cycle before that, clearly an immense blow off top there. Even last cycle, which was weak as hell, and we had a double top, we saw tremendous growth for a sustained amount of time. We haven't had that yet. We haven't had that at all. And I believe that we're going to see new all-time highs, if not by the end of this month and sometime in October. Our next target area is right here. Are we just going to grow? It's not going to take us 3 or 4 or 5 months, 7 months to get to this area. Are we going to stop here? I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. Bitcoin has been more constructive this cycle than it has been really any other cycle in its existence. Genuinely more constructive. It's taken its time at every single phase of consolidation before it moves up higher. And I think we're getting set up for the big swing right now, the finale phase. So I very much doubt that we stop here. The only other targets then to consider would be 260K to about a $500,000 price. Again, because 462K is at the 2272, but typically if Bitcoin hits the 2272, it does go just above there. And that's not just on cycle tops, that's on really any time frame that we've observed that happening. Typically. Not always, but typically. I really do believe that we're going to see the price go all the way up to $500,000 by the end of the cycle. I'm just going to cut to the chase. That's where I think we're going to go. But as far as when we get there, let's see if we can identify that, right? It's possible we could stop at 260. It's possible we stop at 307. But in my opinion, 173, 180K, it just doesn't seem likely. I don't see the likelihood that we stop anywhere below really $260,000 by the end of the cycle. I'd be very surprised if we stopped below 500,000. That's been the call for years now at this point. We look at the bull markets and how long they've lasted. This is by far the longest bull market that we've ever had. We can take into consideration that as well. We look at the low here to this bull market. That was a 24-month period. We look at the low here, not this low, not the end of the bear market, but the beginning of the bull market, which would have been, I think, it would have been much more sensible to measure it from here. That was a 28-month period. We go here. Obviously, the bear market ended here. The bull market began there. And I would say the bull market ended on this month as well, 28 months. We didn't end the bull market here, just like we didn't start the bull market here, right? And now, I believe we're at like 30 months or something like that. I don't know, or past 30 months. Let's see. Yeah, we're at like 34 months right now, you guys. The longest bull market that we've ever seen in Bitcoin's history. So this means one of two things, right? Either the bull market's over, we're already extended, or we've got more to grow. And I think here, if we go to 28 months, clearly 28 months here, a lot of people were assuming that the bull market was over based off of that back here at this point in time, but we've continued to grow. Clearly, I don't think the bull market's over. We don't have that blow off top finish. We don't have any of these, or we have, I think, just one, actually. Just one bull market peak indicator has hit. It's just one, and the one that has hit is the alt season index. That's it. That's it. So it's alt season. That's what the alt season index is saying, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't mean that I don't really know much about this indicator, honestly, but I don't think that this is a significant indicator. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, right? Most people talk about the MVRV score, the pi cycle top, Puel multiple, right? These things have not been hit yet. The Bitcoin rainbow chart. There's probably other things too that people really talk about, but I'm not seeing anything that MVRV ratio. Yeah, I don't really see anything else. Maybe there's some other stuff, but I'm just missing it right now. There's other indicators that we look at that we really consider, but 28 months, 24 months, 28 months, 33 months here, definitely the longest cycle so far. If we look at all these cycles too and where they've topped off, go to the vertical line here. This bull market topped off, the very first bull market topped off in the middle of the year, June. Well, it's not the middle of the year now. This bull market topped off in November. This bull market topped off in December. You see where we're going with it, right? This bull market here topped off in April, actually. But the cycle high came in at November, right? That's when, maybe I should say this is when the bear market started for each cycle, right? Because I think even though the bull market did end here, I think that it was stagnant and it would have continued to grow. I think in this period here we would have continued to grow, but there were a bunch of things from an economic level, on a geopolitical level too, that were just going wrong for the markets and not really allowing anything to grow. It was a risk-off kind of environment. So I really do think the market should have extended here, but it didn't, if that makes sense, right? But making sense out of this, just looking at this, typically our cycle highs come in at the end of the year. November and December is a pretty common month. I don't believe, again, I don't believe that we're going to top off in November, December. I think that we are going to continue going higher, but this should at least express that we have some more months of growth to go, okay? If we're looking at this here, just trying to look at all the angles. If we're looking at this here with our RSI, maybe not the stochastics, maybe not the MACD. I'll delete these because they're a little bit less, they're not less relevant, they're just going to be less helpful, I think, in this part of the analysis. We look at the RSI, the monthly RSI, and you can see here that we have a very clear trend and pattern in the RSI for Bitcoin's entire existence here. We've had a double top here in the RSI, a double top there, a double top there. We even had 1, 2 peaks here, 1, 2 peaks, right? And if we take these lines, we take these second peaks, put it right there, every single second peak that we've ever had after hitting this line, right? Second peaks have always hit the line except for last cycle, right? It didn't, but I think, again, that expresses that last cycle was weak, that we should have, I think this is just expressing more of what I'm saying. We should have continued higher, but we didn't. I shouldn't do that because that I'll get in trouble. I'm not trying to, I'm just saying we should have. Be careful with the arm movements there. We should have moved higher, but we didn't. But nonetheless, the secondary peak after interacting with this trend line, that's where our cycle highs were every single time, right? Right there, second peak. Right there, second peak. Right there, second peak. Right there, second peak. We're going to be watching this RSI, this monthly RSI, like a hawk to help determine where the high is going to be. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, and that's why I think we have something special here. It's so simple. It's so anybody can pull it up. It's really not. It doesn't matter what length you have either, right? I've got mine set to a 10. It could be a 14. It could like the standard one, 14. It could be at 20. Whatever. You're going to have that same trend line. The only difference is it's going to be at different levels. But who cares? Every cycle too, if we notice this right here, the 90 level on the RSI, Bitcoin every cycle has seen levels above the 90. And I highly doubt that during the most constructive, literally what has been the most constructive cycle and fundamentally bullish cycle of Bitcoin's entire existence, I highly doubt that we're not going to get a taste of that above 90 area in the RSI. What I'm saying here is we have a day with destiny. And our destiny is to interact with this trend line. Our destiny is to break above the 90. Until we're there, we're nowhere near the end of the bull market, okay? Each time, if you go back and you measure these, I don't want to measure them all right now because I don't want to take up too much more time. I want to wrap this up. This is a 4-month period in between these highs. This was a 7-month period in between these highs. It goes 4, 7, 4 between these highs, 7, and then once we get these ones, I would assume 4 or 7 or somewhere in between. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 8, maybe it's something different. 4, 7, 4, 7, maybe it's a coincidence and we don't rotate now, we don't go back to that 4, maybe it's something different, but there will be an allotted amount of time, several months, where after we interact with the trend line for the first time, we will have several months of bull cycle left to go before we interact with it a second time. And then at that point, that will be our cycle high. We're going to time it very effectively, my friends. We're going to kill it. And if you're watching this channel, if you're subscribed to this channel, you're going to be very aware of when these bull market highs come in, okay? But I don't believe we're there yet. I believe that we've got a lot to go. And if we're just taking into account that we're this far down on the RSI, we've got, we're just nowhere near the end of this yet. This is actually some of the most bullish posturing that we've ever seen in this monthly RSI. Consolidating like this, getting in and out and in and out and in and out. Very constructive behavior with a very constructive price. There's very little doubt in my head that we see anything less than 260K. I thoroughly believe, I'm very confident, and the call has been since early 2023, if not late 2022. I can't remember. The call has been for years now for this whole bull cycle, and I haven't changed it once, that we are going to see a $500,000 price by the end of this cycle. I got nothing else for you. Oh yeah, except for the timing of this, right? So we're actually just getting into the timing. So 4 to 7 months afterwards, right? I can't imagine when this is going to be hit, right? It could be next month. It could be the month after. It could be December. I would assume that by the end of December, by the end of this year, we hit this line, okay? Whether it's November or December, I would assume that we hit this line. I'm thinking it's going to be December. Maybe it's January. 4 to 7 months afterwards, that would be when our cycle top is going to be in, okay? So if we hit this in November, December, January, those are the likely months. It's September now, so that gives us at least 2.5 months from here. October, November, yeah, into October, November. It would be into December if it was 2.5 months. Yes. Yes, 2.5 months from now to get to December. If it's November, if it's December, if it's January, we can measure out 4 to 7 months from then, and then have a range. So from November, December, January, February, March, that's 4 from November. So March might be the earliest. 2026 might have the first time where we actually end the cycle in a early part of the year instead of the late part of the year. Yes, most of these tops have been at the later parts of the year, not the earlier parts of the year. But that doesn't mean that it has to be there now. And I think a lot of people are going to count on that and think that the end of the cycle is in December or in November. And that's going to psych people out because we're going to have one last push higher. That finale finish is going to come in. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to trap a lot of people in. Unfortunately, everyone's going to think that Bitcoin's going to $1 million. You're going to hear a bunch of people say, it's going to $1 million, it's going to $1 million. And that's 2 weeks, within 2 weeks from then, that's when we're going to sell. We're going to be looking at these indicators, you guys, not just the RSI, but all these indicators and referencing them. The pi cycle top indicator is definitely one to watch. But March would be the earliest, right? November, 4 months later, okay? The latest then would be December, 7 months later. That put us out in July. Now, July of 2026. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I personally don't believe that we're going to top off in July. I don't personally see the bull market extending that far. I personally don't believe that the market's going to end this year in 2025, and I could see it ending in 2026. March is on the earlier end. I believe we're going to top off somewhere in between, maybe April or May. If we run with the idea that we hit this trend line in December, April is 4 months after December. If we hit this trend line in January, May is 4 months after January. Yes. So to me, and if we're looking at this as well, again, it goes 4, 7, 4, 7, 4 might be the appropriate allotted amount of time. Unless we're in the super cycle, there is no bear market, whatever. But I also do believe, and I meant to talk about this too. I wanted to talk about the bear market before we go, okay? I do believe that the next bear market we have it is going to happen. And I think that it will be shorter than any bear market that we've had before. Not just in length of high to low dropping, but in time as well. We look at each of these bear markets that we've had in our existence, okay? This is a very short bear market here. This one only lasted 5 months, okay? And I actually want to let's get a what's it called? Date and price range. Here we go. High to low. It lasted 5 months and we dropped 93%. This one here, high to low, the bear market lasted 14 months. We dropped 86%. Each bear market gets more and more tame. From high to low, 12 months, 84%, okay? 86, 84. Last cycle, bear market began here. Whoop, that was not the proper month right there. Let me get it on there. Yes. 12 months, 77%. You see where it's going, right? Lesser and lesser, from 93% down here to 86, 84, 77. If we continue this trend, it's very likely that Bitcoin would, I think, at the least drop, or at the most, I should say, drop 75%, okay? But it probably drops, I would think, somewhere closer to 70% than 75%. We might not even hit a 70% drop this cycle. We've got institutional involvement. This might be the most tame bear market we've ever seen by far. It might not even be close. But from what we've seen so far, we've seen the last 2 cycles in a row, a 12-month bear cycle. That tells me likely this next cycle will not last for 12 months. This next bear cycle will not last for 12 months. We have a right translated bull cycle. That means it's lasting longer. It's going further, right? We're going to have a left translated bear market. And that's actually very common. Left translated cycles typically are in the bear markets, okay? I think that's what's going to happen. Because this market, think about it. It makes sense logically, right? We've had a longer bull market. We're cutting into the time that's available for the bear market. Does that make sense? So the bear market's going to be shorter in percentage and in time, which probably doesn't allow it to drop as much. It might be intense. It might be very harsh at first. More harsh maybe even than these 2 bear markets were, right? If you think about it, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. 6 months of chilling. We dropped a little bit, 6 months of figuring it out, and then the hard stuff came in. I think we're just going to drop hard. I think it's going to be the first 6 months are going to be the hardest. Personally, but we'll see. It's a lot of assuming. 14 months here and then 5 months here. We are very capable of short-lived bear markets. Okay, we're very capable of it. We've seen it before. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if, let's say, our bear market starts in April. If we were to last maybe not 12 months, right? But let's put it out at 12 months, and we were to see something that's, let's put it around 70%. Okay, maybe 75% at the most. Let's do that. Hold on. Let me put this up to 500K. Okay, $500,000. And we're going to put you in April, not May. I mean, maybe we top off in May, but I think it's going to be April. Man, getting the time and the price on there is hard. Okay, and then 70, we were saying 75% at the most. So 74.7%, that's close enough. That means that Bitcoin, after its bear market, however long it lasts, I have it at 14 months here, but I don't think it'll be that long. I'm just mainly focusing on the price right now. However long it lasts, will likely not return to prices that are even as high as we are now. We will not come back down below 120K by the lowest prospects of the next bear market, okay? Likely, because again, if we hit 500K or even above there, we'd be dropping 77% just to get back to the current price that we're at now. We'd be dropping 77% just to get back to the current price that we're at now. Bitcoin dropped 77.5% last cycle. We're not going to see a repeat of that. It's going to be lesser. The next bear market will not even provide the current prices that we're at, our cycle high prices right now, as a low area, as a low prospect for you to get in at, okay? 12 months or less is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it will be less than 12 months. I'm really thinking it'll be like a 10-month or less kind of thing. Maybe 6 months at the very least, right? But something like that would put us from April, and if we do 6 months in expectation, that would mean April of 2026 April of 2027 to October of 2026. Somewhere in that time frame would be the end of the bear market. And if we look at the ends of these bear markets real quick, I know this is the boring part because it's not relevant to us right now, but this, maybe it's all been boring, but we're doing our homework nonetheless. The end of this bear market happened when? At the end of the year, in November. The end of this bear market happened when? In January, which is the very beginning of the year, but very close to the end of the year too, right? January is the beginning of the year, but that's a month off of the end of the year, so very, very near that same kind of area, within a quarter of a year difference, November to January there. We look at the end of this bear market here, that was December, right? November, December, January, we've hit that same area in the quarter of the year every single time. And then the end of this bear market happened right here in November again. November, December, January, okay? We're bringing that up because with our given range that I'm expecting as far as price, percentage, and time, 12 months, if we top off in April of 2026, the odds of the bear market ending in April of 2027 are very low, in my opinion. Left translated bear cycle, we don't bottom out at that time of year either, typically. Not even just typically, every single time. If it was a 6-month period, that would put us in October of 2026. We've never bottomed out as early as October. It's always been November at the earliest. But again, 6 months to 12 months is the kind of range we're working with. What's in between there? At 7 months, we have November. At 8 months, we have December. At 9 months, we have January. I really would expect that this next bear market lasts anywhere from 2 quarters to 3 quarters of a year, somewhere in that. Maybe 3 quarters at the most, or maybe just over 3 quarters. And I don't expect that we will even see prices where we are now by the end of it. It'll be fast. It'll be loud. And I think it'll happen at an inconvenient time for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are going to assume that December is the high of this cycle. We're going to be at 200K or higher. It's going to be a nice rally. All of your favorite YouTubers and content creators are going to convince you that's the high. We might even correct in January, coming down, right, from 200K to like 150K or something like that. And then we continue to rally. Going into April, we see that $500,000 price. We see the biggest move that we've seen this whole cycle as our cycle ending finale, as we always do, even last cycle whenever it was weak. And because of how extended this cycle's been, we will see a shorter, more rapid, in all senses of the word, bear market. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. We're going to be paying attention to a lot of these indicators, and we're going to be paying attention to the RSI as well. Take care of yourselves. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye-bye.